Hey guys, so I'm gonna be doing a reaction video of women, not wanting to die alone. That's just poetic. Okay, let's get into it. Hmm.
Today I'm defeated. Defeated of the feeling of never being enough,
Uh-huh.
of feeling like I'm not the lucky one that gets to find love,
Hmm.
and feeling unworthy of love.
I think I'm quite lonely. And I feel really bad for saying that because I have friends. It's not that I don't have friends, but everybody grows up and has different interests, and I kind of don't know where I fit in anymore. It's quite sounding emoony, and I also don't. I like to be quite upbeat, even though I am horribly depressed. But I don't know. I just feel really lost. Just thought I'd share it in case you feel the same.
Living alone at 33 is really hard, harder than I cared to admit, especially considering a lot of that time alone was during quarantine and I spiraled into a neurotic isolation I now call sobrinstic agoraphobic period of solitude.
What?
But as I re-enter the world from a hibernation-only mental health TikTok would understand, I'm just going to...
And I just wanted to feel like someone loved me. Oh my god, we're going into it. Okay. Alright. I just wanted someone to feel like they loved me and wanted to be with me for me, and that was never the case. But then I got my dog during quarantine, and I love him more than anything in this world because now I'm lonely. I don't have a place to stay. I don't have any options, and I don't have anywhere to go, and I don't have anybody to turn to. I don't know. I just feel very stagnant in life, and I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm so lost, and I just feel like alone and stressed, and I have to be here for my dogs, I'm just praying for us because I just want us to be happy. I feel like everybody deserves to be happy. No matter what that happiness is, everybody deserves to be happy.
These women don't know they're picky, and they don't oftentimes know they're picky until it's too late. And that pickiness, that stubbornness hits them like a ton of bricks in their 30s. And they realize that they spent a lot of their 20s being so picky that they were alone. And now they're alone at 33. And it's much harder to be alone at 33 than it is at 23 because
This video shows the struggle of many women caused by loneliness.
Okay, so is it just me, or do all men not care anymore about dating? Like, if you don't care, that's fine. Like, you don't want to date, that's not for you. You're still finding yourself.
Okay.
But don't be on the apps. Please, don't be on the apps. Like, what are you doing here? So yeah, this guy reached out to me on the dating app. We actually matched a year ago. We did go on a date a year ago. Kind of forgot about it, but it just fizzled out. So he reached out again. I was like, hey, circle back. I like this. I didn't find anything wrong with you, so maybe timing wasn't good then. It can be good now. We chatted and chatted some more. I then was like, okay, I think you have my number. Like we've done this. Like let's get off the app. So he texted me and he was like, oh, I do still have your number. How are you? Still chatting. I'm like, okay. Do you want to go on a date with me? Like, do you want to do this in person? Like, I don't need a pen pal. I don't. So asked him, I was like, hey, like, are you in town? Like, do you want to get together? Like, go on a date.
Okay.
He then says,
oh shit.
Yeah, I'm in town until Sunday. I could possibly hang out with you Friday. I can possibly hang out with you Friday. Why are you even talking to me? Like, you don't want to date?
Nope.
You just want to say, hey, good to see you. Okay, we'll do this again in a year. I don't understand. Somebody, men, please. I'm accepting your comments to tell me what is happening. That I have to spoon feed you to date me. And I'm not saying I'm great. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, why is it so difficult for you to ask us, any of us, on a date? Or do you just not want to and you just need an ego boost?
A few moments later.
Men are trash.
Of course.
Maybe this is a sign.
Yes.
I'm done.
Uh-huh.
But wait! Kind of like rewatching old Sex and the City episodes in 2022. It all feels kind of sad, and you can't stop asking yourself, how can she possibly afford that apartment? I only lived alone once when I was studying abroad in Sweden, and aside from being that girl who makes studying abroad her entire personality, I always had a roommate, partner, or parents to keep me company or give me a reason to do the dishes. Now I live in an apartment that's way over my budget, but I'm at the age where I'd rather die of monkeypox than have to put clothes on for a roommate. And 2 cats staring at me downing an entire loaf of gluten-free pumpkin bread while pantsless is enough humiliation for one lifetime. The cons of living alone are pretty obvious.
Oh.
Who will take care of me when I'm sick? What if I get robbed? Who is that mysterious dark figure in the shadows that only seems to appear once I turn off the lights as I sprint to my protective armor of blankets? But the one thing no one tells you about is what it's like to be lost with your thoughts alone in bed at 3 a.m. It's kind of the same as when you're sleeping with a partner beside you, only you don't have anyone to shake awake when you cringe cry from overthinking that time you farted during reading hour in the 5th grade and how nobody likes you, and now your shame won't let you fall back asleep. Don't get me wrong, there are some pretty great parts about living alone. You see, it's in those late night thoughts where the real magic lies. And while that may occasionally include a questionable search history at 3 a.m., I'm talking about the media-induced writing only wannabe novelists and neurodivergent books talk about. Even as a child, I fantasized of shutting myself away into a messy bohemian apartment in the big city full of books and cigarette butts, where I would throw myself onto a barely usable and thus romantic typewriter and pour my heart into what would inevitably be America's greatest novel of all time. I will say, I do find that living alone has fueled the need to empty my brain onto blank pages. Oh, and also I have 2 closets of clothes I don't wear, so that's pretty cool. Living alone at 33 is really hard, harder than I care to admit, especially considering a lot of that time alone was during quarantine and I spiraled into a neurotic isolation I now call Sabrin's agoraphobic period of solitude. But as I re-enter the world from a hibernation-only mental health TikTok would understand, I'm just going to continue doing what I do best. Netflix for hours at a time, promise myself I'll clean something tomorrow, and write so much a best-selling novel will just have to pour out of me.
All right, so this is sad. I mean, watching these videos, as much as it's funny to watch, is entertaining, but it's also sad when you take it all in. It's also sad seeing these women go through the things they are going through. Feminism was one of the biggest cons that you're talking about con jobs. That is one of the biggest cons that women were subjugated to. Feminism sold them a huge bill of goods, and we are beginning to see the ramifications of it, and it's quite sad seeing these women go through all these things. I mean, there's an article I read that JP Morgan, they are planning on, there was this projection or statistic. Well, it's a projection that come 2030 that half the female population will be single and childless, and companies like JP Morgan and all these huge banks are beginning to prepare for it, and all these huge pet companies, like PetSmart, they are beginning to prepare for events like that. Women being single, lonely, and childless. It is sad. This is very, very sad. And women keep buying into it. Like, women keep buying into all this feminism bullshit that their life is more meaningful than being alone and by themselves. And then when they hit 30, now they are becoming desperate. Now they're hating men. Now they're asking, why would men date me? Well, because you partied and you did the most in your 20s. That's why. Because you didn't spend time trying to understand what men are, who men are, and what men want. You didn't spend time to understand that. Now you're beginning to ask guys in your 30s, what do you want? It's too late. It's too late. And it's a shame that no one taught you that. Your mom was supposed to have taught you that. Your grandmothers were supposed to was supposed to teach you that, but they didn't. And it's a shame. It's a shame that now you're in your 30s, late 30s, some mid 30s. Now you're asking men, what do you want? Why don't you want to date? Someone was supposed to tell you that men don't usually get wives at a dating app. No, dating apps are for hookups. But that was something that your mom was supposed to tell you, but they didn't. I mean, it's quite a shame. It's quite a shame. But anyway, it was a funny video. If you liked the video, if you enjoyed it, please hit that like button, hit the share button, and if you may, please subscribe. Yeah, have a good night.